Leclerc and Hamilton's test times have been leaked, and it's looking interesting. Verstappen speaks out on likely receiving a race ban, and the FIA teases return of the V10s. Do consider subbing to the channel. Let's get into the latest F1 news. Lewis Hamilton recently took his first spin in the Ferrari SF25 during a shakedown run at Fiorano, and reports indicate he was significantly slower than his new teammate Charles Leclerc. According to unofficial data, Hamilton was 0.8 seconds off Leclerc's pace during the Fiorano session. This isn't the first time the gap has been noted. Just weeks earlier, Hamilton had finished almost 2 seconds behind Leclerc during a tire test in Barcelona. This shakedown marked a pivotal moment for Hamilton as he prepares for his debut season with Ferrari. The team unveiled their new car for the 2025 F1 season shortly after the Formula One season launch in London. The next morning, Leclerc took to the track to complete about 30 laps before Hamilton took over for the afternoon session. Unfortunately for Hamilton, he was only able to run this once on-track session before the single preseason test begins in Bahrain on February 26th. Even though Hamilton's slower lap times might raise eyebrows, the situation was not entirely unexpected. This shakedown represented a private filming day, and Ferrari opted not to issue any official report. While some fans might view Hamilton's slower times as concerning, it's important to note that both drivers were using special Pirelli tires specifically designed for the shakedown, which are not representative of the tires that will be used during the racing season. Moreover, this slow start comes on the heels of an up-and-down performance for Hamilton in a recent 2-day tire test in Barcelona. He had outpaced Leclerc by a mere 0.130 seconds on the first day, only to be outdone by 1.788 seconds the following day. Pirelli highlighted that these discrepancies in lap times could have little bearing on actual race performance, given that different work programs were in play during the test. As Hamilton moves from Mercedes to Ferrari, many are interested in how these early comparisons will set the stage for the upcoming season. Hamilton has returned to the spotlight, with fans looking for a fresh start after the controversial end to the 2021 season. While the current numbers aren't in his favor, the full context of the performance will only be unveiled when the real racing begins. For fans of Formula One, consistency in performance will be the true measure of Hamilton's adjustment to his new team, Mao, and everyone is eager to see how he and Leclerc will compare when the lights go out in Bahrain. The anticipation surrounding Hamilton's transition to Ferrari is palpable, and as we look ahead, it will be fascinating to see how both drivers harness their skills as the season unfolds. Ferrari's latest developments in F1 have certainly made waves, especially with the evolving dynamics between Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton. Recently, a report from Italian outlet Auto Racer hinted that both drivers were undergoing separate training programs, a strategy likely designed to maximize their unique strengths. Leclerc, gearing up for his 7th season with Ferrari, is stepping onto the track with confidence. His experience since joining Maranello in 2019 allows him to dive in headfirst, even if performance isn't the immediate priority. On the other hand, Hamilton's focus is just as vital. He's working on boosting his confidence and clarifying what he needs from both his team and car ahead of this new chapter. The feedback from both drivers came back positive after their respective runs, which is a reassuring sign for the team. However, Hamilton's road has been bumpy. He struggled with one-lap pace during his last season at Mercedes, often finding himself behind teammate George Russell for most of the races. After a particularly challenging performance, he openly admitted, "I'm not fast anymore," a candid acknowledgement of his current struggles. But what does this mean for the competition? Leclerc is often considered one of the quickest drivers on the grid, boasting an impressive track record of 26 pole positions since 2019. While he excels in securing pole positions, the Monegasque driver has reached just 8 race wins, in stark contrast to Hamilton's record-breaking 105 victories. This discrepancy raises the stakes. Can Leclerc convert his qualifying speed into race wins, especially now that he's up against Hamilton? The rumors and tensions don't end there. George Russell recently revealed that Hamilton's switch to Ferrari was quite a surprise, particularly because such decisions usually leak to the media well ahead of time. This revelation adds another layer to the narrative of this season. Hamilton's transition to Ferrari is undeniably under the spotlight, as the 7-time world champion appears to be handling the stress of the changes remarkably well. His remark about feeling speechless at the beginning of this journey reflects both excitement and the pressure he faces as he settles into his new role. Meanwhile, Leclerc has acknowledged the challenges ahead. He's preparing for what could very well be the most significant rivalry of his career. With Hamilton's legacy looming large and his own aspirations to clinch more titles, both drivers are poised for an electrifying battle on the track. As the season kicks off, all eyes will be on how Ferrari manages its two-star drivers and how they leverage their distinct styles and experiences. Will they sink their prowess to propel the team forward, or will the rivalry ignite and lead to unexpected tensions? Stay tuned as we dive deeper into this unfolding saga that promises to deliver excitement and drama under the lights, whether in Bahrain or beyond. The FIA is buzzing with excitement as they explore the possibility of reintroducing the V10 engine in Formula One. This decision comes after FIA President Mohammed Ben Sulayem suggested that a return to this iconic power unit might be on the table. In response, the FIA is setting up a working group specifically focused on evaluating the logistics and feasibility of making this throwback to the past a reality. The last time we saw a V10 engine in action was back in 2005. After that season, Formula One shifted gears to V8 engines and eventually in 2014 adopted the current 1.6-liter hybrid engines that we see today. The transition to these modern engines was driven by a desire to maximize horsepower while ensuring reliability, especially with recent regulations aimed at prolonging engine life and limiting fuel consumption. As we look towards the future, the upcoming regulations expected in 2026 aim to push the boundaries even further. These new rules will seek to enhance performance and sustainability, aligning with the ongoing efforts to reduce the sport's carbon footprint. Yet, the idea of flipping back to a V10 engine raises questions about how this fits into F1's trajectory towards eco-friendly practices. Many fans reminisce about the V10 era, often citing the glorious sound that reverberated through the circuits as one of the engine's most appealing aspects. The roar of those engines created an emotional connection, a visceral reaction that many feel has been diluted with the current V6 hybrids. This longing for the past has sparked conversations about whether the V10 might indeed make a comeback. Mohammed Ben Sulayem isn't merely making these suggestions for the sake of image. He is engaging with various stakeholders to discuss the technical direction Formula One will take after the 2026 regulations are implemented. The discussions include considerations for a V10 engine that would run on sustainable fuel, which could potentially align with the sport's environmental goals alongside cost containment measures. As Formula One evolves, the balance between nostalgia and innovation will be crucial. The potential return of the V10 engine might just stir excitement not only among longtime fans, but also present a unique challenge for car manufacturers looking to implement their F1 learnings into consumer vehicles. With the looming deadline for achieving net carbon zero by 2030, the path ahead could become increasingly complex, yet exciting. The future of motorsport is at a crossroads, and the decision to revisit the V10 engine formula could redefine the sport's landscape in ways we're only beginning to imagine. As discussions unfold, fans around the world will be keenly watching to see if this proposal turns into a thrilling reality on the F1 grid. Stay tuned as we keep you updated on this developing story. As we look ahead to the potential for Formula One to revisit the iconic V10 engines, let's delve into the current landscape. While the idea has sparked excitement among fans, it's not entirely welcomed by the engine manufacturers themselves. Industry insiders suggest that proposals like those made by FIA President Mohammed Ben Sulayem could add unnecessary uncertainty at a time when manufacturers are deeply focused on maximizing the current regulations for greater road car relevance. With the auto industry under increasing pressure to reduce carbon emissions, Integrating outdated technologies, such as large displacement V10 engines, seems almost impractical. So, what does this mean for F1? As manufacturers strive to achieve high performance levels with a shift towards hybrid and electric technology, reverting to older engines becomes a substantial challenge. Furthermore, experts in the field indicate that pursuing changes to reintroduce V10s, even a decade down the line, is unlikely to resonate with manufacturers who prioritize innovation and efficiency in their engine designs. As we've seen, the automotive sector is evolving rapidly, and F1 must keep pace with these changes to remain relevant. Now, with these considerations in mind, is there still a case for exploring a return to the V10 engines? Our discussion also leads us to PlanetF1.com's verdict, where writers weigh in on whether F1 should take the plunge into the past. Opinions are varied, but the underlying consensus highlights a shared enthusiasm for the roaring sounds of V10s versus the realities we face in modern racing. In addition, after the recent changes in FIA personnel, including the exit of Johnny Herbert amid conflicts of interest, the regulatory landscape continues to evolve, impacting how such proposals are considered. With the 2026 regulations on the horizon, it's clear that F1 is at a crossroads. The desire for thrilling, powerful engines must align with the industry's push for sustainability and innovation. As we continue to monitor developments, it will be fascinating to see how the conversation about V10s unfolds in the competitive world of Formula One. Stay tuned for more insights and updates on this captivating topic. Max Verstappen enters the F1 2025 season on a mission to clinch his 5th consecutive World Championship title. As he gears up for the challenges ahead, one looming concern is his current penalty points tally on the FIA Super License. With 8 points to his name, Verstappen is tied with Fernando Alonso for the highest total among drivers. It's important to remember that accumulating 12 points within a rolling 12-month period can trigger a one-race ban, an alarming prospect for any competitor. With this in mind, Verstappen assured fans and reporters that his strategy won't shift as he navigates the season. He's confident in his ability to manage the situation despite the pressure. The Dutch ace explained that experience plays a huge role in his approach. It's not unfamiliar territory for him. While Alonso's points are set to drop after just 5 races, providing him some relief, Verstappen faces a more challenging scenario. He must successfully maneuver through an intense schedule of 11 Grand Prix weekends without exceeding his points limit before any can fall off his license. The stakes are high, with Verstappen only having 3 penalty points to spare during this crucial stretch. In the past, Verstappen has dealt with similar pressures, having been on the brink before. Reflecting on this, he shared, "No, but I've been there before." His attitude seems to reinforce a mindset of resilience and focus rather than fear. The seasoned driver understands that racing is inherently risky, but he's determined not to alter his aggressive style that has made him a formidable competitor. Maintaining peak performance is vital, especially in a sport where every point can determine the season's outcome. Verstappen's calmness under pressure promises exciting moments as he attempts to balance his racing instincts with the need for caution. As fans eagerly anticipate the upcoming races, the focus will also remain on the penalty point situation for all drivers. Verstappen's journey through the F1 2025 season is sure to be captivating, filled with strategy, skill, and perhaps a few nail-biting moments as he navigates this critical element of the sport. Will he adapt effectively, or will the pressure of the penalty points lead to unexpected challenges? Only time will tell as the race season unfolds. Max Verstappen enters this season as a frontrunner for a potential 5-time world championship. Despite the spotlight, he expressed that he prefers not to get caught up in betting markets, saying, "First of all, I don't like betting, but it's fine." Instead, his focus remains firmly on his own team and performance. Verstappen emphasized the importance of concentrating on their own machinery rather than worrying about competitors. "We know that we have things to work on with the car, and that's what we are doing." He finds the increasing competition among several teams to be beneficial for the sport, a sentiment echoed in his remarks regarding the new regulations that promote closer racing. "That's good for the sport," he noted, reinforcing the impact of multiple teams contending for victories. He hopes that this season will bring excitement and diversity in winners, stating, "I do hope that it's exciting and that we get a lot of different winners, teams as well. That would be great for the sport." This desire reflects a broader trend in Formula One where a mix of winners enhances the spectator's experience. In other news, there has been chatter surrounding FIA penalties for inappropriate language, with Verstappen cautioning, "You have to be very careful with what you say. It shows." As the FIA considers measures to maintain decorum in racing, Verstappen seems more focused on what matters most, his performance and the success of the Red Bull team. Additionally, as rumors swirl linking Max Verstappen to Aston Martin, team principal Andy Cowell was asked for clarification. Such speculation only fuels interest as fans remain curious about potential team changes in the fast-paced world of Formula One. Lastly, the rivalry between Verstappen and George Russell continues to make headlines, particularly after their dramatic end to last season. Their interactions add an element of personal competition that fans eagerly watch. As we gear up for the races ahead, Verstappen remains determined to maintain his focus, navigating all the pressures and expectations that come with being one of the top competitors in Formula One. Will his approach lead him to yet another championship, or will the winds of competition shift? Only time will reveal the thrilling twists of this season. George Russell is at the forefront of Mercedes' ambitious efforts as they prepare to unveil the W16. The excitement is palpable, especially as he hints at significant changes to this year's car. After a challenging previous season where the team finished fourth in the Constructors' Championship, George has openly discussed the necessary adjustments they are implementing for improved performance. In a recent media session, Russell expressed the team's motivation to avoid falling into a trap with the W16. He pointed out that every season has brought its own set of challenges, where solving one problem often leads to the emergence of another. This year, however, he assures that they have taken a more disciplined, methodical approach to their development. The focus has been on being thorough in their simulator sessions, emphasizing a controlled evolution of the car to sidestep any pitfalls that could hinder their progress. As the regulations for Formula One evolve, the Mercedes team is strategically navigating these changes. The 2025 season is expected to bring about critical adjustments, and Russell is keenly aware of the delicate balance required in shifting the car's setup. His insights suggest that there is a keen understanding within the team that pushing too hard in one direction might compromise performance elsewhere. Instead, they are striving for a harmonious integration of changes that will ultimately lead to a more competitive package. With Russell spearheading these efforts, the anticipation around the team's new car builds, fans and followers of the sport are eager to see how the W16 will perform in what promises to be a thrilling season ahead. As the team prepares for this next chapter, the hope is to not only improve their standing, but also to reclaim their spot as frontrunners in the championship race. In a recent interview, George Russell provided some intriguing insights into the challenges facing Formula One teams. He highlighted a common struggle where solving one issue often leads to new complications. Over the last few years, we've been so focused on solving the problem, we weren't looking ahead to future issues it might cause, he explained. This cyclical nature of problems, especially in a highly technical environment like Formula One, requires a more forward-thinking approach. Russell discussed the necessity of being proactive rather than reactive. When you're changing the characteristics of the car, every decision has a domino effect, he warned. For instance, making the front of the car stronger could negatively impact the rear's performance. Finding the right balance is essential, and understanding potential repercussions is crucial. We need to be thorough and ask ourselves, what are the fundamental changes we're going to make? Is this going to be a problem at these races? As teams like Mercedes aim to avoid falling into a new pitfall with the W16, Russell's comments resonate deeply within the paddock. With the recent challenges, addressing the relationship between various car components is vital to maintaining performance without introducing new issues. Switching gears, Russell also commented on his relationship with rival Max Verstappen, addressing the high-profile tension that arose at the end of last season. Despite the heated exchanges, Russell remains steadfast, stating he won't be bullied by Verstappen. His confidence highlights the competitive nature of Formula One, where every race is as much about personal rivalries as it is about teamwork. In a broader context, discussions about the sport's future are equally important. Topics like the potential return of the V10 engine or innovations from teams like Red Bull's sister team sit in the foreground of conversations among fans and experts alike. As the racing season heats up, expect to see how these dynamics play out on the track and keep an eye on teams as they navigate both old challenges and new opportunities. With Russell's insights and a resolve to improve, the upcoming races are sure to be packed with drama, strategy, and excitement.